Good morning. This morning, I hope you've had a great week and you're looking at a long weekend and Labor Day weekend to find some rest. But that is the source of my devotional today. It leads with a question. The question is, are you exhausted? Are you tired? And if you are tired, church, what is the source of your fatigue? Like, what's making you so exhausted? I had something happen this week that reminded me of this thought, and I want to share it with you in a moment. But before I do, I want to share with you my source of renewal, like where I went to find respite and strength. I went to the scriptures. And in the New Testament scriptures, I saw this theme woven through all of Paul's letters to the New Testament churches. This theme was that I work to the point of exhaustion for the sake of the gospel. He wrote to the Thessalonians in 1 Thessalonians 2 that I toil day and night for the sake of the gospel and for you. In Colossians 1, he said, to this end I labor, striving according to his working. Because Paul had this mentality, had this thought, that if I have a day, then that day is a gift. And until I have no days left, I'm going to utilize this day as if it's my last day. And I so trust that Jesus' love is the answer for a broken world. I so trust that his redeeming work on the cross is salvation for anyone who will listen, that I'm going to do all I can to let any hearer know that truth, and that they can trust it and find life in him and his words alone, that I will expend all energy I have so they can know the truth, and the truth can set them free. And that led me to this question for us, church. If you're exhausted, is it because you're exhausted to the point of like having nothing left because you're working so hard for the sake of the gospel and people knowing the truth in Jesus? Or is it you're exhausted because you're running the rat race of culture and you're burning at both ends just to keep up with those that you scroll and follow for hours on end every single day on social media? You're desperate to keep up with the Joneses who they've expelled an exceptional life on social media, one that isn't even real, but it seems so attractive that you're doing everything you can to keep up with them. Because there is no renewing for that. There's no renewing for the one who is just running the race of culture, the rat race of life that ultimately will take everything from you. There's no renewing for that if you're going to seek to be conformed to the ways of this world. The Hebrews author said we're in a race. And in chapter 12 he said we run that race well. And we only run that race well if we fix our eyes on the prize Jesus and endure each day to the very end till we have no days left. So for the believer, you can't find replenishment in anything the world has to offer. The only place that we can be renewed is in Jesus, our sustainment, our fulfillment. And this weekend, if you are exhausted, I encourage you, you have to find respite in him. Take a deep breath and drink him in. And you can do that right now, today, individually, but we're going to do that together as a church on Sunday. And I anticipate that. I anticipate him having a deep and rich word for us, and I know he does. But before we get there, I want to tell you what led me to this. You see, my son Cannon had a race this week. It was a cross-country race, an endurance race, and he was nervous before, and he said, I'm just nervous. I said, buddy, as long as you just do your very best, if you just leave everything you have on the course, in the end, win or lose, I'm going to be proud of you. I'm going to be happy for you. And so, in his mind, the only best that he can give is to win. The only way that he's given his absolute best is if he's winning. So he shot out the gate early, and he put himself in a great position to win, but about less than a quarter from the finish line, I could see him. He collapsed. He had absolutely nothing left to give. He dehydrated his body so much that it sent him into muscle failure, and we had to run him to the hospital to get IV and to get fluids back in him just so he could come back. He left everything on the course, and I, as his father, couldn't have been more proud. I was scared, I was nervous, and I'm happy to tell you that he's snapped back. He's doing well, and he's going to be fine. He's becoming himself again, and he's already talking about his next race, so you can be encouraged, and thank you for praying for him, for those who are aware. But now that you're all aware, I want you to know that your Father looks at you from heaven and says, I'm going to be so proud of you if you just leave everything on the course. If you just expend all energy for the sake of the gospel today, I'm going to be so proud of you. If you have nothing left to give because you so trust my love and you're trying to give that away to whoever will listen, I'm going to replenish you. That time of Sabbath with you is going to be so sweet. I want to encourage you to come to me, and I will give you rest. Find respite in me. Jesus gave that invitation in Matthew 11. He said, come to me if you're heavy burdened, I will give you rest. This morning, church, we anticipate gathering on Sunday at 10 o'clock in Mt Juliet and at 10:45 at Two Rivers, and online for both those services to gather as a body to hear the truth. But you don't have to wait till then. You can worship and find rest in Jesus right now if you'll just take the opportunity that he's giving, if you'll just take his invitation. And so this morning, at the beginning of your weekend, I hope that you'll do so. And you'll find rest in him and be renewed by the only one that can sustain and fill you on this planet. And then we'll gather in true praise to hear from the one who loves us, who has a word for us, but to give honor and glory back to the one who replenishes us each day with opportunity to be spent and exhausted again for his name's sake. Are you here to make his name great or your own? This morning, church, I find, and I hope you'll find, no true purpose in trying to make your name great, but real life, true purpose in making Jesus' name great. Find rest in him this morning, and I'll see you Sunday. God bless.